What's going on, traders? Sandro O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is July 9th, 2021. My mic is on. Just had to double check that. Hope everyone's having an awesome Friday. Please go ahead and click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to talk about the price action in the indices. We will go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors as we always do. We'll talk about some of my trades for the day, and then we'll wrap up with options order flow. Before we jump into all that, quick risk disclaimer: nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan, your own risk parameters, and last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, let's jump into it. So what did we have today? Today was just like the vicious snapback rally. So we had S&P 500 up 1.07%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ up 0.62%, which was actually our laggard for the day. We had the IWM small caps up 2.11%, and we had the Dow Jones up 1.26%. So yesterday, I was talking about how, hey, we need to be open to further downside. We need to basically take into account, all eventualities, all possibilities. And today we just got the happy path in the markets. So it ended up working out where the sell-off that we had yesterday, as crazy as it seemed, completely erased from the record books. So you can see this candle right here in the S&P 500 was a bearish engulfing candle. And then immediately after, we just had a vicious bullish engulfing candle here. We hit this target level, this 43.64, which I think is a good destination point for this rally. So now it puts us in this kind of awkward situation where it's like you go from, oh my gosh, market's falling, to the next day, the market's overbought again. So it's a really interesting setup here. I think, this is where you need to have like the finesse in your trading, because you don't want to overcook it, and you don't want to be like, oh, okay, I went to all cash yesterday, and like now into the close I went like like fully invested again. So it's definitely like an interesting market dynamic here. Let's pull up our NASDAQ. And you can see NASDAQ as well essentially erased the entire sell-off. We're above all the key moving averages again, and we're still quite extended from this 20-day simple moving average. So yeah, as of right now, we've really just done nothing over the past 3 or 4 trading days. What looked like, oh my gosh, a huge sell-off, and what looked today like, oh my gosh, it's a huge rally, in the grand scheme is really just the market's gone nowhere for a couple days. So I mean, if you got completely whipsawed yesterday and today, and like, oh my gosh, like I lost everything yesterday and I gained nothing back today, I would say that's where like maybe look back and think about, what did I do on these couple days? If you're about even from where you were 2 trading days ago, that's kind of like par for the course. And if you're even ahead of where you were, you're really ahead of the game. That's really like some swift and savvy, trading around these moves. Let's take a look here. Dow Jones, you can see here, is pushing up against this monthly value area high, and you can see we are on the verge of a breakout today on this DIA ETF. Looks like we actually already broke out. This is the Dow Jones ETF here, and you can see nice little breakout. Yeah, and then we'll real quick take a look at the Russell. You can see pushed up into this monthly value area. And I guess technically we did close inside of it. So yeah, who knows? Maybe we can start making progress within the monthly value area. And next logical target to the upside is this 20-day simple moving average. Small caps really have been range bound for a couple months. So yeah, buying towards the low end here, was the savvy play for sure. I just day traded that setup. I didn't hold it into today. But yeah, historically, in this little window of time here, it's basically made sense to buy the extreme dips and then sell the rips in the Russell. We'll see if that continues to hold true. Let's jump into our market breadth. And you will see today we had really stellar market breadth. We had 91% advancers in the SPY. We had 93% advancers in the Dow, 90% in the IWM small caps, and 83% in the NASDAQ. So even though the NASDAQ was the worst, that's still pretty great. 83%. Much better than we've had over the past couple weeks in terms of breadth. Checking out our FinViz heat map, you'll see just that. And essentially what happened was everything that was getting crushed over the past week or so, it was like Delta variant, deflation, slowing growth, like all these different factors that caused huge sell-offs in financials, huge sell-offs in industrials, all those different areas. You can see those roared back today. And then some of these tech names took a bit of a break. You can see Amazon was down slightly. You can see Microsoft as well, CRM, Salesforce. Pulling up our sector sheet here, you can see solar energy up 1.41%. Our leaders is kind of like an interesting group here. We have medical devices, software, and solar energy. Let's take a look. Our top performers on the day, though, you can see we had transports up 2.5%. We had financials up 2.83%. K-Web, these Chinese internet names that have been getting beaten and battered, up 4.38%. And you can see regional banks up 4.48%. In terms of these Chinese internet names, check this out. So look how bad this is. The K-Web, look how oversold this was. This was like from the peak, one red day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then finally, strong bounce. I think what a lot of people do, like, and I think it's a natural inclination, including myself, we all have this like mental, sort of gap or whatever it might be. People will look at what's going on today and they'll put a lot of weight into it where it's like, oh my gosh, financials are like ripping today. Like financials are so strong, or like, oh my gosh, Chinese internets, they're so strong. Like it's ridiculous. And it's like, you have to think about the context of what just happened, because say for Chinese internets, they were trading up at $70 and they corrected down to 58 in the course of like 5 trading days. So over the course of like a trading week, it's down maybe like 15% and change, something like that. So to go down 15% in a straight line and then up 4.38%, it's not like, oh my gosh, these things are so strong. It's just, they're very volatile right now. And I think what people will do as well is like they'll anchor on like this current day and they'll be like, man, I missed that. These Chinese internets, they are up so much. Oh my gosh, I missed all the action. But it's like, I wouldn't be so hard on yourself, because, if you weren't in these Chinese internets today, that likely means you weren't in them for this huge plunge either. So unless you had like literally perfect timing of picking the bottom, it's tough to like look at today's action and kind of like FOMO over it. Let's see. Let's pull up here. Yeah, some of these areas of the market had huge bounces. Like for instance, Airbnb. This is a name that I've been long for quite a while now. I got really active in this name down here when I started to see this pivot and this tighter price action forming. I've had a couple nice trades in Airbnb, and I'm currently in some 150 by 160 call spreads that expire next week. I actually thought these were completely like a lost cause. I was like, okay, I lost that trade. Now they're pretty much like right back in contention. And Airbnb had a very strong close and really just strong price action throughout the entire day. So you can see what's kind of unique here is like, talk about shakeouts. So within this base, we had a couple sideways days here or whatever. Boom, shakeout. I'm sure there were a bunch of players that were getting long here that had to exit that stock or got stopped out. Then, okay, we're back up there. We're moving sideways. Boom, shakeout back to the 20-day. There were likely people accumulating that got knocked out. Then over here, boom, shakeout below the 20-day. Sure, a lot of people got knocked out there as well. That didn't look good. Then boom, we're back up to the highs in a flash. Oh my gosh, here it is. Finally, the breakout. That's certainly what I thought. I remember this all happened when I was on vacation. And then boom, about 5 days in a row of just straight downward price action. This definitely shaked people out. So this candle right here jumping out of this monthly value area, and then this gap down. So now, boom, we're right back up 4.99% today. As I look at this, I'm like, who is still long with me? Like I stayed long because I had call spreads. Like if I didn't have call spreads, I probably would have been knocked out of this thing also. But I'm like, if and when this thing finally goes, it's going to be so fitting because there's going to be like no retail traders left in this thing after all these shakeouts. But we'll have to see how it plays out next week. You can see if you look at this 5-minute chart here, you can see just throughout the day, this was right in the morning, really nice strength. And then you can see into the close as well, some really nice strength here. It looks like after hours, I don't really know what's going on here. It looks like somebody sold like a little bit over here. So yeah, I don't really know. It looks like it's being quoted at 149.51 up here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, really strong action. And this was right into the close. You can just see buying right up into 4 o'clock. So we will see. I think at this point, the momentum is with the bulls, but the momentum has shifted back and forth between the bears and the bulls on this stock so many times over the past couple weeks. So that's going to be really interesting. Let's check out how that plays out next week. Let's take a look here. We looked at our sectors, looking at our style factors. You will see we had the high beta style factor up 2.81%, and we had international momentum, which was up 2.58%. That's really just capturing a lot of these Chinese names that bounced. And then you can see weaker performers on the day. We had growth, and you can see we had quality, defensives, Minvol, all these areas that were outperforming over the past few weeks. Let's jump over. We will take a look at some of my trades. But what is this? All right, let's check it out. So I did very little trading today. So one thing was like, market gapped higher today, which is awesome. I didn't really want to chase all that much. So I put on one trade in the morning. I put on these Doc N common stock. This is DigitalOcean. And I really just put on a starter position. You can see here, I gave myself room to add on a dip. Got long for 57.29. But this one I wanted to see, how will this one actually close out the day? Because this has been a super nice relative strength name. You can see dip buyers came in immediately to support this yesterday. And, we just broke out of this consolidation range today on some nice volume. This one added, it was dipping throughout the day, had some volatile price action, but it had a really nice strong close. So I like this one into next week and beyond. And then I also took a stab at some short-term puts on the Qs. And this one I stopped out into the end of the day. So I got long some Qs, 360 strike puts for $3.33. And really, my thought was, okay, the Qs seem a bit overbought right now. And then I have a bunch of other trades that are moving really nicely. So maybe I can catch an intraday dip. And the Qs really just did not do that. They remained strong throughout the session. And they continued to be strong pretty much right into the close. So I actually just took my stop on those and moved on. So I closed those out for $281. I had paid $333. And that to me is just took a shot at it, stopped out, boom, move on. And then into the close, I took some Dow Jones August 20th calls for $6.50. And really what I was looking at was just, hey, it looks like these Dow names and these small cap names, the momentum is shifting into those groups. And I saw, hey, the Dow Jones literally just broke out for this DIA ETF. Nice volume the past 2 days. I was like, you know what? The market is telling me I should have some exposure to this group right now. So I took those into the weekend, put those on pretty much right at the close. Let's take a quick look. We'll check out some of our options order flow here. And let's see what we had today. So we had, in terms of flow leaders, you can see we had a lot of Tesla flow, which is pretty common. You can see this is a very mixed bag, so not really much of a signal here. Tesla, I was saying earlier, this is like a premium seller's dream or like a market maker's dream right here. Because look at what Tesla's done. It's just done a whole lot of nothing. And yeah, it looks like it might be setting up nicely for a trip back to, 700 here. But I just know this stock, it's gotten a lot of people excited on the upside and the downside. And this year just hasn't really been, a huge mover. Then what else did we have? We had Amazon, of course. That one has been, a flow leader for the past couple days since it broke out. Square announced that they are doing a Bitcoin wallet. And you can see we had some calls come in as well as some puts. So that's a mixed bag as well. Alibaba, we saw some activity. Let's say this is the majority in calls here. Oh wow, and some of these are going out to 2023, November 2021, March of 2022. Wow, so these are really moving out in time. Yeah, these are all for 2023. And then, yeah, some longer term puts as well. Let's see what Alibaba did today. Yeah, Alibaba, a nice little bounce up 3%. And let's see Didi. Didi is at the heart of all this commotion and madness. And you can see Didi has gotten taken to the woodshed since the IPO. This one also had a bounce today. Those are our flow leaders. And with that being said, that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome trading day and hope you all have a great weekend.